the webinars type of things are usually one way. There are people who are making some presentation, even formal for the board, and that's about it. The kind of things that we've done in the last 2 days, and we are in a networking smart partnership form, an informal professional interaction, we are trying to do the same thing in a formal interaction. And that means the CPTM board members, some of them are present here. May I have the the CPTM, some of the directors are here, including the chairman. Some other directors are virtually present in Malaysia, Namibia, and so on. And similar with members. Government members, Commonwealth government members, public-private sector members, and networking members, Commonwealth, not Commonwealth. So I will just use the drum so that we mark the beginning of the AGM, and I'll pass over to the chairman.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I welcome you to the 21st Annual General Meeting of CPTM. I do not have a name tag, but I think I still remember my name. My name is Omar Abdul Rahman. And I think I am chairman of CPTM.
So the AGM notice says.
Okay. We'll take that for... We have the necessary quorum. So
10 members.
Okay, so we do have a quorum, so we will now proceed with the meeting. You will see from the notice of meeting that the first substantive item is the chairman's message. So I will now read the message, which will give an update and a brief progress of what CPTM has done in the past year, and a little bit about my own activities in relation to CPTM and Smart Partnership in the past year. And I think you have in your collection the chairman's message. Well, 2015-2016 has been a difficult year for CPTM. Difficult in maintaining a useful presence through relevant activities on the face of severe constraints. Part of that constraints is reflected in the much reduced activities and fewer attendance of directors and members at this AGM compared to previous AGM. The constraint I mentioned, the constraint are actually with respect to our financial resources and the fact that the CPTM Endowment Fund is not likely to be able to continue to support us. Strenuous effort has and are being made to raise additional contribution to the fund from member governments. The result so far has been encouraging, but more effort, consultations, and briefings will be needed. Despite the above, CPTM continued during the year under review with its work on developing and implementing national visions and the cooperative frameworks covering quality and standards, finance, and science and technology. In addition, it has dealt with 2 new topics of current interest, namely data and statistics and the emerging digital landscape. Additionally, CPTM has prepared a number of reports, notable among which are Cameroon Vision 2035 Think Tanking, May 2016, Central Bank Governors Think Tanking related to financial inclusion, June 2016, briefing to ISO General Assembly in September 2016, and briefing to the Commonwealth Finance Ministers meeting, October 2016. The Cameroon report was the outcome of the CPTM Technical Assistance Mission to Cameroon on the 9th to the 13th of May 2016. Details of these activities are contained in the Chief Executive's report on the highlights of CPTM work, November 2016. I think that is also in your possession. Now, my own involvement has been primarily in the area of science and technology inclusion, and in this respect, I have been personally involved in the certified training program on STI policy and management conducted in Malaysia. During the year under review, 2 such programs were conducted, one with the Academy of Sciences Malaysia for OIC member countries, and the other with ISTIC. ISTIC is the UNESCO Malaysia International Science, Technology and Innovation Center. And we did this for developing member countries of UNESCO. Participants in both programs included those from Smart Partnership countries. That's how I thought it is related to the work of CPTM. The Certified Training Program on STI Policy and Management is based on the book The Essential of Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, which is jointly published by CPTM. I was at the hub during a short visit in London in August, at which time the Chief Executive had arranged for a High Commissioner's briefing on CPTM Inclusive Framework initiatives. The briefing touched on the subject of quality and standards inclusion, and I had commented at that time that we always talk about such standards in the context of goods and services, and that what is most needed now is standards with respect to governance. There are many examples of manifestation of inappropriate governance in the world today. How this problem can be addressed can be a subject of CPTM think tanking for the coming year. We need advice from Alan on that one. In retrospect, CPTM's contribution to the Commonwealth has been substantial. Our effort in promoting best practices in governance for development has been acknowledged by many governments. Our assistance in the development of national visions and their implementation through the inclusive cooperative framework approaches is continuing. An important contribution of CPTM, which will be an enduring legacy, is Smart Partnership. This we have been promoting since the first Langkawi Dialogue in 1995. I have myself been promoting Smart Partnership as the robust framework for all manners of collaboration, cooperation, and partnership in the field of science, technology, and innovation, and research and development, and as an important component in technology management best practice checklist. It should be the basis of the international collaboration needed to implement the current UN Sustainable Development Goals, the 17th component of which is international partnership to achieve the goals. One important application of smart partnership principles and practice is the area of promoting and strengthening cohesion, harmony, and unity at national or sub-national levels. At national level, I am happy to report that we just held in Kuala Lumpur a Dialogue Rakyat or People's Dialogue on December 3rd to revisit the Smart Partnership ethos and practice and to build upon them a code of ethical conduct to promote national cohesion, harmony, and unity. We are in Malaysia beset with all sorts of factors which is causing disharmony and divisiveness. I am pleased to inform that the Dialogue Rakyat Code of Ethical Conduct based on the principle of Smart Partnership was successfully adopted. The next task will be to promote that nationally. I might also mention that our Director Founder General Ehsan Shordom had on the 5th of November successfully organized a Circassian Smart Partnership Dialogue in Amman, Jordan, to strengthen cohesion among the Circassian community in the country. You may want to ask him about that after the AGM. Another potential application of smart partnership at the national level would be in Cyprus, once the leaders of both the Greek and the Turkish parts of the country have come to an agreement on reunification. And I understand our director founder, Dr. George Kritouridis, is keen to get that organized. In conclusion, let us maintain our belief in CPTM and its work and the good that it does in serving the Commonwealth. I take this opportunity to thank everyone who contribute to CPTM's work throughout the year, and especially to members of the engine room and to our Chief Executive. Thank you for your attention. Now that concludes the Chairman's message, and I'm happy to answer questions if there are any at this stage. No questions, no comments. Okay, thank you very much. The next item is an update by the Chief Executive. You can carry on with your report, excluding this one. Okay?
You are introducing me as item 2.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairman.
I didn't know you were an item.
I'm an item. I am an item. I think my report does not need to take the time as usually into a formal AGM, because as a chief executive, I am actually weekly through the digital means or otherwise in touch with members or likely new members, like you have seen even about an hour ago in the library. So it will be probably quite presumptuous for anybody to think that I'm going to say something new. All what it is as a chief executive, I produced the report, which is the highlights of CPTM at work for the 2015 to 2016, and you have it as my formal report, but you will see that the report, if you can call it a report, is not a typical report, is an account of the members' activities as they wish to be signaled to others that they exist, so that they can network with each other and support each other. And the report obviously consists of, in a formal structure, the activities related to the CPTM strategic initiatives, the 6 inclusion initiatives, the national visioning, the quality and standards, inclusion, financial inclusion, science technology inclusion, data statistic inclusion, emerging digital landscape. There are 6 of them. And these are probably a signal also of what one may see as evolving in what one would call CPTM 2.0. And it is likely that that will evolve very rapidly, simply because of the kind of things that we discussed in the last 2 days. The digital landscape, the value of data, and the leveraging of data within the networks that CPTM was able to maintain and evolve for 20 years are likely to become scale-free networks and self-organized networks. And it will require a slightly different, or probably dramatically different, way of being stimulated, but that will only continue to be if country tasks, which is a second part of the CPTM type of activities, country tasks, smart partners hubs, nodes, links, and networking continues to evolve, and there will be a CPTM hub. Smart partners hub will continue to stimulate the code of conduct for such type of activities. And obviously, without the smart partnership dialogues, which might have to orient themselves towards the financial inclusion and all the inclusions that emerged in the last 3 years, those are essential because the CPTM Limited or CPTM as such does not exist without a parallel smart partnership movement. And I would like to say that as joint dialogue convener, not as chief executive of CPTM Limited, the achievement of the smart partnership movement wouldn't have been possible without the CPTM Limited. And CPTM Limited, and therefore the Commonwealth as a whole, wouldn't have been able to benefit from this experiment, which was led and is led by emerging economies in the Commonwealth and the governments as such. So this is what it is in this report, in detail, giving signals of what is taking place in various countries, only some of them. And if you want to know more details about it and the profiles of the people who are involved there, or the governments or the institutions, CPTM Hub has that available. The smart partnership movement had an extraordinary impact in the Commonwealth and will continue to have. Smart partnership movement gave the idea of what the Commonwealth is in 21st century, or what it should be. And the inclusiveness that last year, for instance, was the main message of the Commonwealth Day. CPTM with Smart Partnership Movement introduced that because of their ability and the demand of providing that service in that way about 7 years ago. Today, we are not having just inclusiveness. We have the art of including the inclusiveness, interacting networks of networks. And I'm sure that the Commonwealth will have to pick up the signals of doing that if it is to make the best of the spirit of the Commonwealth. And obviously, structures, governmental structures and intergovernmental structures have to pick up the insights from these 20 years of experience, of experiment of the CPTM with a smart partnership movement, because government structures or intergovernmental structure are struggling everywhere to remain functional. They are, most of them, unable to perform the functions that the members wish them to perform. And there is no better way to review or change or adapt than actually giving flesh to networks. Networks who are not just networks of any kind, understanding what means networks, encouraging networks, and resourcing these networks with a tenth or maybe a nano kind of unit of the financial resources which otherwise are being used or put into intergovernmental organization nowadays. CPTM is an example of that, not only in the Commonwealth, international standard organization. We have here one of the most well-known Secretary General of ISO, Alan Bryden, International Telecommunication Union, WTO, ACP in Brussels. Everybody is interested, Club of Rome, professional, well-known organization. They are interested how does one adapt and change to the current environment, which is where networks are required to be put to work in a formal way. So a manifesto would be very useful for all those movements that may emerge to transform the Commonwealth, and including to adapt the Commonwealth Secretariat. The CPTM Smart Partnership Movement Manifesto, the Limitless Opportunities, which again as Joint Dialogue Convener and Chief Executive, I have submitted to the AGM. There is a Smart Partners Manifesto in 1998, and this is the updated in 2016. It is not my or our board's kind of write-up of this manifesto. This is the members' manifesto, and it was recognized that there is a need for a manifesto since 1998 in Namibia by the then President of Namibia, His Excellency President Nujoma, and together with all their colleagues, governments in Southern Africa, in Malaysia, in Caribbean, they articulated this manifesto, which is a live manifesto, is being updated with the wisdom of various contexts as they change. So the conclusion is, from my point of view as Chief Executive and Joint Dialogue Convener, that there is CPTM Limited is the only one example that of an experiment, and I'm saying that being part of many international organizations at all levels, and not only those that I know, but our network is formed of many organizations who are wishing to take an example and understand how this framework of CPTM limit has been set up. So networks and art of networks bring in data and digital landscape within the operatives of these networks for the development, for progressing the national visions and the collective effort. And above all, there is a need for a spirit to be rekindled with a manifesto, with a movement. And as you know, the movements are en vogue now. A few years ago, when we said CPTM Limited has a movement, everybody was trying to kind of say, are we really a movement? Are we a freedom fighters movement? And are we an NRM movement? Well, we didn't realize that we were again experimenting, that there is a need for a movement, a smart partnership movement, to be able to build up solidarity and common code of conduct, as Omar was referring to. So the code of conduct for smart partnership, which inspired Omar just recently last week, is built into Smart Partnership Manifesto. And like this, in many countries or many regions. As a networking member, I'm a CPTM networking member, I put my hat down as far as I could into trying to bring in the latest trends, not only in science, technology, in philosophy, in banking, in anything that is required or I heard that people need to know about it. And I tried as a networking members, alongside other networking members in CPTM, to bring in, without any effort, adding my cooperative resource, not as a chief executive, paid or maybe not paid or whatever it is, but in my own personal capacity. So the 2016-2017 will probably be based on what it is at the moment in the CPTM highlights report, together with the financial consideration, the endowment funds to support CPTM Limited, but also together with Commonwealth heads of government, ensuring that they understand us collectively as well as one by one the value that they created in the last 20 years and the experience that they have to pick up from it for their own use. Okay?
Thank you for that brief report. Now, any questions? Are there any questions or any comments?
As a matter of fact, I wasn't long enough. I have something else to say at the end. But thank you for cutting me off.
But come back at the end there. All right.
So, and quite a lot of travel, quite a lot of thinking. And also, you mentioned it, but you put together some of the best brains in whatever item we're discussing, and some of the best brains with knowledge for development. I also would like to thank you very much for all the efforts that you take and you still go with in trying to find us financial resources to continue our activities. It is not simply because we want to survive, but because we want to continue doing goodness. And I know your travels, I know you write, the people you wrote to, and I want to thank the countries that I am aware of, which is Uganda and Swaziland, that came out to our help out of their schedule. And I'd like to propose to thank you very much, Mihaela, and I wonder if you'd second that.
I'll certainly second that, and I think we shouldn't take for granted all the work that goes on, both creatively and obviously, and also behind the scenes, both by Mihaela and all the people who are with her. So I think we should give them a round of applause.
You want to continue? Okay. So if you look at your agenda, there are two parts to our agenda, and we have dealt with the part one, which have dealt with introductory matters. Now we move on to the formal business. And the first item, the next thing that I want to deal with is that we now turn to for you to look at the notice of meeting, and may I ask that the notice of meeting be taken as read. Now we had hoped that the financial statements for CPTM for the year ended 31st March 2016 would be finalized before this meeting. However, at the present time, they have still not been finalized. So I am withdrawing Resolution 1 and Resolutions 2, which are items 6 and 7 on Part 2 of the agenda. And this resolution will not be putting them to the meeting today. Discussion with Deloitte about finalizing the statements are ongoing, including the possibility of extending CPTM's last financial period by up to 6 months. And I understand that a decision on this is likely to be taken by the end of this month. CPTM will communicate with members about this once the statements have been finalized and they have been signed off by Deloitte. And if there is any query on this one, we have our advisors to help me on this one. Now, in view of the withdrawal of Resolution 1 and 2, the only resolution which will be put to members are Resolution 5, Resolution 3 to 5, which are items 8, 9, and 10 on our agenda. These three resolutions will each be taken by a ballot with the completion by eligible members of voting forms, and the voting forms will have been given to members when they arrive and registered for their attendance at this meeting. I turn now to the resolution relating to the reappointment of directors, namely Resolution 3 to 5, inclusive, in the notice of meeting. The names of the directors seeking re-election appear in those resolutions. As I mentioned earlier, this resolution will be taken on the ballot. In the case of each resolution, would eligible members kindly complete the appropriate voting form for that resolution and hand it to the collectors? Who are the collectors?
Well, probably Matt Orcott will do this.
Okay. Our legal advisor.
No, it's me today. I'm sitting in the hot chair.
Okay, you are Mr. Mervyn Coof and Mr. Matt Orcott from Deloitte. Our accountants will count the votes later and will announce the results towards the end of this meeting. Article 64 of CPTM's Articles of Association provides for the appointment of directors for a period not exceeding the conclusion of the third AGM after the AGM at which he or she is appointed. The board recommends for continuity that each of the directors representing themselves for reappointment today should be appointed until the conclusion of CPTM AGM for 2018. I should mention that the board will be reviewing this composition in the first part of 2017, and that one or more of the directors appointed today may stand down as a result. But I suggest that this should not affect reappointment until the conclusion of the AGM of 2018. May I assume that this matter, that this meets your agreement?
Yeah.
Now turning to resolution number 3, I propose as an ordinary resolution that Ambassador Barry Furr be and is hereby reappointed as a director representing financially contributing government members until the conclusion of CPTM's AGM for 2018. Would only financially contributing government members please complete the voting form, colored pink, and hand them to collectors?
Yes, I think there are only 3 government representatives present, and they've all completed the form which Mr. Orcott has got.
Okay.
So you can renounce the result now because he's got the form.
And all 3 forms are voting in favour of the resolution, I'm pleased to say.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
So Ambassador Barry Furr is reappointed as our director, and we warmly welcome him back. Next, I propose Resolution 4 as an ordinary resolution, namely that Dr. Gideon Mahalela, I don't know whether he's online, but he's not with us today.
They are online.
Okay.
Which is Gideon is not online.
Anyway, this is the reappointment of Dr. Gideon Mahalela, be and is hereby reappointed as a director representing private and public sector members until the conclusion of CPTM's AGM of 2018. Would only financially contributing private sector and public sector members please complete the voting form colored orange and hand it to the collectors?
I think we will find from, if I'm correct, is that the only person who can vote is the chairman, who's got a proxy from the British Standards Institute. So, Chairman, you will decide this issue.
You say so.
But yes, Botswana and Barbados,
So I vote in favor. So can you announce the result then?
The resolution is passed.
Thank you. We will.
He never actually left us by spirit.
So we welcome back Dr. Gideon Mahalela to the board of CPTM. Now, in relation,
BSI did not send. Sorry, Omar. BSI.
Yes, they have seen.
Okay, fine.
in relation to resolution number 5, I propose as an ordinary resolution that Lieutenant General retired Ehsan Shordom be and is hereby reappointed as a director representing private and public sector members until the conclusion of CPTM's AGM 2018. Would only financially contributing private and public sector members please complete the voting form colored yellow and hand it to the directors.
It's you again.
We're in the same position again.
I have to think whether I should support this one or not. Can you stand up and see who you are?
It's a pity he's not with Mr. Najib. I would have offered him a check.
Put that in the minute.
This is not to be recorded.
No, but if you say that's a donation, that's not a corruption.
Oh, God.
Well,
Yeah,
you need
there
to
is.
vote.
I thought you said public and private.
Yeah,
Private and public sector.
private and public sector members.
We have
We have proxy.
from the chairman.
One person?
One person sent a proxy, yes. One
What about the public
organisation.
sector? What about the public sector?
Sorry?
Public sector. Is it the public sector or
No,
private sector?
let me
Both,
explain. No,
yeah.
I think it's again the problem we had when we were set up as a camel. The public sector does not mean government. The public-private sector means public, means parastatals, like for instance, central banks, and I'm surprised, the Central Bank of Swaziland or other central banks.
Clarify that.
Central banks,
The general notion of public sector is not that. It's not to clarify.
In
I
our
know,
case,
I know.
In our case,
Yeah, but it's
public
not
private
understand.
sector in our case mean public private sector companies or GLCs, government linked
I'm not
companies.
doubting. I'm just saying that it is good to clarify.
correct.
Nobody's doubting.
No, but if you read our constitution, that is very clear.
I will get confused.
No, but if you don't read it, it's not clear.
No,
But
I
if you-
know,
yeah.
I know.
But that's how
It's-
it is
it's-
translated.
Can I just say something?
I think it's a question of just making things gentleman's type of way of doing things. You just clarify it, but you cannot send people to go and read constitutions now. You just make a small clarification and it's understandable. No, it's okay. I'm talking of the future. Not yes. You see, as we say in French, pour mémoire, I don't know what to say in English.
In the M&A.
Yeah, just as a reminder,
No, you're quite right. I think I agree with him. As chief executive, I have
Does it
to...
mean we have to change our M&A?
No, we have to explain each time we are doing it. And each time we say CPTM and who are the members, we need to explain where they are.
You lose nothing by doing that. I guess.
Okay.
We can send you a description we've produced, actually. So,
He does know, but he's trying to... Yeah.
Let me tell you, for example, the United Nations. Okay, when it says a resolution or so and so, we have said it, just explain. You don't need, you cannot carry volumes of documents to read it. You understand what I mean? Just one sentence enough. Just to remind you. No?
Okay, fine. It's very good for the minutes, for the record also.
Okay. No, we haven't voted on gender showdown.
Shudam?
Okay, so I vote in favor. So please announce the
So
result.
the resolution is passed unanimously.
I'm very glad you didn't have to go back to your foreign minister to vote like United Nations.
So we have done all the voting, have we? we have done resolution 3, 4, and 5. And may I again congratulate the directors who have just been reappointed.
And they will appoint alternate directors.
Alternate directors, yeah.
themselves.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that looks like that our formal business is concluded.
No, there is item 11.
Well, are there any other business to be transacted? These are businesses that has been submitted for consideration at this AGM with appropriate notice given. Are there any other business? Just a moment.
Not from our perspective.
Okay.
Particular questions.
Okay. So as far as the AGM is concerned, we have done with our items on the agenda.
I haven't done.
So
But there is the High Commission.
no, I mean the High Commission can come in, but we are concluding the AGM. But then other questions come in
No,
after
we want
the.
to conclude the AGM because item 11 includes any other transaction.
If
that we
appropriate
will-
notice have been given, that's very clear. If appropriate notice have been given, that is part of the company law. I know that much. Yes, I know I'm not a stupid chairman, but I know that much.
But the High Commissioner probably they want to say a few things.
Yeah, they
as
can
part
say
of
that.
the business.
Yeah, they can say at the end of that. Yes. So we have.
Sorry, could I ask one thing? Mihaela said that she had some things that she wanted to say earlier on. If those are part of her statement, then they should be taken now before the end of the meeting.
Do you have something as part of your report you want to say now?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. But that is still part of the meeting. But after that, we conclude the meeting, and other matters can come after that.
Because Mahala did indicate.
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Well, one of the things that as Chief Executive I have been doing, particularly in 2014-15, but up to March 2015, was to work alongside the chair of the Smart Partnership Movement and colleagues to try to explain the value of the CPTM Limited, not only to the Commonwealth heads of government through the brief that we made in Malta, but through the continuous kind of interaction with the High Commissioners representative of those countries in London. And we have the High Commissioner of Uganda, High Commissioner of Seychelles, High Commissioner of Cameroon here, High Commissioner of Zambia, and there was a bit earlier on Swaziland. There are a group of countries within the Commonwealth, probably about Namibia, probably about 20 or 25 countries who are very much involved in the last 1 year and a half to try to establish the issue of accreditation of the CPTM, which the Commonwealth Secretariat raised in the last 10 years or so. And the reason why I would like this issue to be recorded is because one of the things that has happened is that the annual government contributions are being connected with the issue of accreditation. And the issue of accreditation, as the High Commissioners enlightened me, and they made big effort during their own formal meetings as Board of Governors alongside Secretary General and so on, they've been trying to ensure that this issue of accreditation, although it's political, has a political connotation that is being resolved. And I would like, for that purpose, on behalf of the board, to thank very much those high commissioners representing the governments and representing those who are part of the CPTM fellows for the Smart Partnership Movement for the effort they made. And even if one would consider that the issue is not resolved, in fact, the issue is not for resolution. The issue is raised as a solidarity among emerging developing countries in relation to the CPTM vehicle that these governments have set up, and separately from the intergovernmental arrangements to be financed, as it has been given to us by the Commonwealth Secretariat in the M&A. Separately from that, they put a big effort, unrivaled effort, to set up their endowment fund to support the benefits that the other Commonwealth countries that they pay, they don't pay. They share with everybody. So here is particularly to the diplomatic corps, those who have been part of the effort which I have been supported into on behalf of the board, to support the chair, His Excellency President Museveni, as well as former heads of government like His Excellency Sokitibina Masire, who is president of the endowment fund, and who, irrespective of his age, is 90-something, 92 or 93, he is participating in teleconferences whenever the endowment fund board requires him to do so, and participating in all this effort to clarify to the Commonwealth, as is now, the extraordinary achievement of the Commonwealth that the Commonwealth should be proud of. So that is one issue that I would like to put on the record, and is not to be underestimated, because one of the reasons why probably annual government contributions are less likely to come in the last few, they came less in life, because there was an undermining to the government themselves who supported and they were involved in this CPTM framework. So I'm sure that this issue will be resolved at a political level at the next Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2018, which will take place in UK. And the second point I wanted to make was that the activities which are referred to into the report that I made, and the last 2 days that we had, implies actually a strategy, implies a way forward for CPTM, and we might have to probably, as I was looking at the Institute of Directors, might have to look at our strategy, which needs a strategy in itself. But the likely strategy context that we are facing are probably of 5 types. One is the usual strategy approach that people look at, the classical one. Another one is adaptive in relation to CPTM Limited. A third one is a visionary one, where one can predict, but you can't change anything. A shaping type of strategy in which I cannot predict, but I can change it. And a renewal one where my resources are severely constrained. Now, these are 5 types of strategies, environments, context, which CPTM Limited is trying to go forward with. One of them, or a combination of 2, probably will emerge, and will emerge very rapidly, and probably it will be for the best and the better for the Commonwealth. So that's all what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on that, the last part of the...
High Commissioners would like to...
Any question on this one?
I'm not a diplomat, Boniface, but...
Okay, if there's none, then our formal meeting is concluded. So I thank everyone for your presence and your participation. Yeah, but we conclude the meeting. Do you want to comment on the on Mihaila's
Excellency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think mine will also be included in the
Formal minutes.
It's working. It's working.
It's working. It works. Yeah, it works. It works for the machine. It works for the system. It's not a loud. It's a smart.
It's not. It's a smart one. Yes, I just wanted to also appreciate my country's and my president's, support and love for CPTM and for all the important activities, as our colleagues said. Mind-boggling, really important. Financial inclusion, standards, visioning. I think it should be appreciated really beyond CPTM and maybe taken up and yes, and maybe marketed. Maybe should be paid for these important, breakthroughs. So I just wanted to say that Uganda and my president, who is the chairman, is in great support of the continuation of CPTM. Thank you.
Before we conclude the meeting, but it must be not a new item, because this one is related to what the activities of CPTM. I wanted to close just now, because if there is any new item you want to raise and it's not been given notice, then we cannot do that. It's against the company law. I think I know that much about an AGM. So any other comments, please? If not, then let me once again thank everybody for being here. And let's hope that we continue to be able to serve the countries that needs our help. Thank you.
I would like, outside the meeting, finally, to thank very much to the board. As I said, probably you don't see quite what is written there. Each year, in the last so many years, those members who have been outstanding in their own dedication and so on, they have the highest, they are chosen the highest award of the CPTM. And there are, in the last so many years, heads of government, Her Majesty Queen Mother in Swaziland, ordinary members, scientists who have become companions. Only last year we had 20, because of the 20 years, 20 CPTM companion awards. His Excellency President Kikwete at that time, etc. Central bank governors, all those that we talk about, but in a different way. Were it to be a separate board than the one that I am part of, they might have decided also to come up with a different award. It's probably not the best title, the kind of Super Companion Award. And I think the Super Companion Award, or the Companion Plus, would have been given to the board of CPTM, the current members of the board of CPTM, for the last year and since March up to now. And that is obviously Omar, Lekoma, John Shurdom, Andrew, George Christodoulides, and all those who are on the board which have been re-elected. So they are actually a CPTM, not a CPTM Limited, Super Companion 2016. Now, they wouldn't have been able to agree as a board with that, because they would have had to agree with their own award, and we don't do such things. So, to celebrate the Super Companion CPTM 2016, there is a malt wine and a glass of champagne, and in addition to that, there is a special end of the year Smart Partners card which probably some of you received it, and which has a spark and says season greetings and all the best for 2017 with a CPTM spark. And the spark is probably, now I want you to reveal that there is a spark up there, a metal spark, which has been, we tried to make it in 3D and to replicate it into the card, and that represents very much the CPTM spirit, irrespective of what challenges and opportunities we have. Without a spark, it doesn't go anywhere. So please enjoy yourself to the chairman's malt wine and glass of champagne in the CPTM hub in the garden room. So thank you very much to everybody, and thank you to the formal team who, alongside the board, they also probably would have had to receive kind of a word of a kind. And above all, probably, I suppose, is my engine team. Because the engine team is not a normal engine team, is a super engine team to match the super companions. And Amira, together with all her colleagues, have been continuing to be optimistic in the great uncertainty in the spirit of smart partnership, and personally thank to them very much.
Working with a not normal chief executive.
And I forgot to say, I have a gift for, and there are others, and Father Christmas came under the tree. There is a bag there with lots of goodies, but my preference, probably technical assistance and the work that we've done this year, obviously was Cameroon. And my main teacher, if I will ever become a diplomat in diplomacy, is Boniface. And Boniface, I promised you to give you a book about the power and statecraft in the digital age that doesn't match your book, which is there, but is called Naked Diplomacy. And it probably, the naked diplomacy is not necessarily what one would take it as, but it is about the digital age and the diplomacy. The diplomacy itself, including the Commonwealth diplomacy, is unlikely to be able to be the same as before from now on, particularly when the CPTM undertook a thorough think tanking into the leveraging of digital age. So please. Okay. So
say just one word.
One word.
One word. Thank you.
Those are 2 words.
This book has a lot of significance.
Yes.
Given to a diplomat.
Yes.
But the substance of it is an incarnation of what our chief executive in Cameroon has been preaching. The president. He is talking of digital technology since April this year, and I think this is very, very, very chosen.
Power and statecraft.
We know better offer than this. Yeah.
Okay.
So we thank you very much.
Thank you.
And, she says my book is there. When I say by the time I come here next year, you are going to have many more of my books. Thank you.
Great. Excellent.
Happy Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. And
Thank you. Thank you. So there is a malt wine downstairs. Please join the chairman, Omar.